Believe in the sacredcy of marriage, and there were a lot of things that I didn't feel needed to be plastered all over the TVs.
I want to know that. Okay. I really want to know that.
Were you faithful to her?
You really want that out?
Yeah, were you faithful to her?
It would have came out already.
That's not the question. Have you been faithful for your entire marriage?
Absolutely.
So what about Ty?
You've always chosen other women over me. You've always put me in a precarious situation to be embarrassed. Oh, what is that?
This is a woman. It said, are you going to bring me back that dick?
Yeah. Up with that. You think I'm supposed to be okay with that?
Drew, you're acting right.
You think I'm gonna be...
Like,
I'm out. I'm done. I'm not sitting here doing this.
Is she that good? Does she do it all?
What's up, y'all? It's Brian Keith, and I'm back with another video. Today, we're going to be talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 15, the reunion, Part 2. And I can say that, you know, I didn't mind the reunion. I thought the reunion was really cute. A lot of women surprised me. Shocking. But yeah, this is mostly about Drew and Ralph. But y'all, like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Let me check my shit real quick. Hotter than the fire coming out my flaming lips. You wanna play with me? You can't play in me. On the playground, bitch, you can't play with me. Got it, won it, securing the bag.
Everything starts where it left off, which was Drew and Courtney going back and forth, and you know, Drew tells her, like, what you not gonna do is talk about my shape. I think that.
Never think that it's okay. I'm never gonna let you think that you can ever speak on my child. You are not a real cousin. You are unverifiable, bitch.
Now, technically, did Courtney say anything bad about Drew's child? No, but it was the mere fact that she referenced her son in the adoption in a negative light, which at some point, regardless of if it was rolling or not, because Courtney was like,
I meant to say it. I meant to say it. I said multiple times. I knew what I was doing. I meant to say it.
You don't know the full story. You don't know the backstory. Regardless of what Ralph told you, is one-sided. So you don't know the full story behind what went on. So for you to speak on that, that lost you some points for me, Courtney. I'm sorry, baby. It did, because at some point, you really don't know the facts. You just hearing Ralph's side. You're not even hearing Drew's side. You don't even care. And like, if I'm the type of person where it's like, if I don't like you and your partner, friend, whatever tells me something, I'm not going to just go wholeheartedly off of what they say, because obviously I know it's one-sided and I don't like you. So it's an automatic fueler. But to speak on something as sensitive and very like taboo as she did. Because, you know, people say they don't like to talk about kids, but we hear a lot of it. But, you know, yeah. After Courtney over here blasted her about going to, you know, Ty's basketball game, then Drew said something that was really questionable, which was, she was like, well, I don't know what Ralph was doing, so I mean, and I'm like, okay, so are you saying that, you know, Ralph can do it, so can I? I don't know. That whole situation had me over here, like, my buzzer's going. Like, there's a lot of stuff that when Drew says stuff, it does come across disingenuous, but when it pertains to Ralph, I'm automatically gonna believe Drew, right? So Andy asked Courtney about, you know, why do you think Ralph wanted to get a divorce? And I'm not even going to go on to what she even said, because it's irrelevant. At the end of the day, you're over here asking her a question about their marriage. It's irrelevant what she has to say. Who is Courtney when it pertains to what Ralph thinks? I want to hear from Ralph. What does Ralph think about why he got a divorce? That's what I want to know. And ultimately, he's saying about multiple women. Child, it gets messy. But you know, Candy provides context about how Ty and Drew met.
That would be her girl crush. She said it to you, and she said it to my makeup artist. And Erica brought Ty to the set the next day. And then Ty started coming to the set.
She was like, yeah, you know, we heard that Drew had a crush on Ty. My hairstylist heard this, whoop, whoop, whoop. She brought her to the basically Candy's house, the video shoot. And, you know, that's how they met. Boom. Andy asked Sheree and Marla, who mumbles, basically, you know, do you know anything about what's going on between Ralph and Drew?
Mumble over here, listen.
Oh my gosh, I still don't want to be in the middle of this, but I was given some information. It was dropped off.
So Sheree's like, yeah, you know, I don't want to be in the middle of it. I hate being in the middle. But I got these papers. They arrived at my door. These papers.
Given some information. It was dropped off to my house a couple days ago.
To the chateau.
It's like, girl, you act like you didn't want to be a part of it. Yes, you did. So, you know, it's basically allegedly somebody dropped papers off at Sheree's residents. They talk about who got through the gate, how they get there, how you not know, whoop, 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 whoop. And Andy passed them around, and Andy says, like, if this is real, it's really incriminating. Not Candy, but Kenya's like, I don't think it's that incriminating, not this, not that. But they really do a little bit more deep dive, and they're just like, oh girl, do we talk to each other like that?
Real, which we don't know they are. They're very incriminating.
They're very friendly. We're friends.
Me, you text me like this.
I don't think so. I want to know what the texts were, but we probably never gonna know. Drew's rebuttal was like, they're friendly. They're very friendly, without even looking at it. So now it has me thinking, so Drew definitely had text communication with Ty, alleged, and I just feel like she never denounced that she did talk to Ty through text message or not. So she was like, yeah, they're very friendly. They're very friendly. I'm just like, girl, how you know? You didn't see it. But hey, so they go on a 45-minute lunch break. In the middle of that, Marlo and Sheree, they're over here kikiing about Candy. They're like, yeah, the only reason I came after Candy was because she came after me. Blah, 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 blah. All y'all gonna throw slugs at each other. That's the name of the game. You did what you did with the She News. Cool. Candy can go on, speak on it, and throw mud on your name too. So it is what it was. So Ralph was over here getting Beijing sprayed on his beard, right? And Courtney shows up. She's like, oh my god, hey cousin. They have a family embrace. And as they're talking, guess who walked by? Allison. Courtney tries to close the door. She said, don't close the door on me.
Great, how are you?
Good, you ready?
As ready as I'm gonna be.
Yeah, how you feeling? Don't close that door on me. Don't you close that door.
Me, but they just start going back and forth. I'm just like, ooh, ooh. And I guess Courtney calls her a bitch, and she's like, oh, I thought you didn't say that. I thought you didn't say that. I'm just like, oh, Courtney about to thump for her sister. Now, don't get me wrong. I put this on everything that I love. Strike me down. If somebody was over here, trying to go knuck and buck to my sister, I'm holding my sister 10 toes down. I don't care what she do. She could be in the wrong. I'll tell her in the car, girl, you were wrong. But in that moment, I'm standing with my sister 10 toes down. If it's against everybody in the motherfucking place, period. And that's just that on that, right? But I respect the fact that Allison hold her sister down, even though they had a distant and strained relationship because of the whole Ralph banning her. But at the end of the day, if they do bring Drew back, bring Allison back, and bring Courtney back. I know people don't like Courtney. She do a lot. I have mixed reviews of Courtney. There's times I'm just like, okay, she's alright. And there's times I'm just like, she doing way too much. Too much. But I want to see how this story evolves, because somebody went on her LinkedIn and saw that she used to live in Tampa. Who went to Tampa in season 13 of Real Housewives of Atlanta? Ralph. So basically, we come back, and they have a casual conversation about eating ass. And we talk about Sanya, and we see her story about her losing a miscarriage. She already knew that she was going to have a DNC, and basically what happened, she had a traumatic miscarriage.
Have a DNC, I wasn't surprised that my body might miscarry, but when I tell you it was the most traumatic experience of my life,
and she said she had blood all in the taxi. She had to get blood transfusion. It's crazy because if that was my sister, my mom, I would be freaking out, because that's nothing to play around with. A lot of black women going through labor have been losing their lives, and we've been seeing a lot more about that through social media. And that's why I tell my sister, I was like, please, when you get pregnant, please have someone that knows what they're doing. Ask questions. It's very, very, very important for a lot of black women and women of color to be very mindful of who their healthcare providers or / OBGYNs, because it's almost evident that a lot of women are dying just to have kids. So yeah. But shout out to Sonya, because she definitely announced that she, a month later she got pregnant, and she, she has a healthy baby coming. So congratulations to her. Sonya said her family's moving out. They touch on the fact that Sonya is very, I'm not gonna say Sonya is tough on her family, but I feel like Sonya put her needs before her family, and she's very aloof to what goes on with her sister and her brother-in-law have going on. But on the flip side, you could say, okay, if the brother-in-law is not working for Sanya, what is he doing? He could be out here getting money for his own family too. He can get a job, but I mean, just saying. But we also talk about Kenya and her story a little bit, and we find out that she is going to be adopting. And I'm happy about that. Not that many people will adopt, especially a kid that's not a newborn baby or like 3 or 4. So congratulations to the Kenyans too. Sanya basically being biased towards Marlo. And I do feel like Sanya is biased when it comes to Marlo, and I do feel like Sanya is Marlo's lawyer. Every time something goes on between Marlo, Sanya is arguing her side and her point. And I do agree with that. But I do also agree that Sanya did make points when it came to the whole DM situation. I mean, that was a valid point. Y'all got mad about the whole Martell thing, but when it was Roy, oh, Marlo's just so nasty. I mean, she might be, but I mean, apples and oranges, tomato, tomato. So I do feel like Sanya is biased. And towards the end of the episode, she proves it again because she jumps in on Marlo's defense again when you could have sat there and just looked pretty. Literally. So they touch on the whole Mommy Nation raising the paddle situation.
Bestie. Marlo, is that what happened?
Andy, you know better. I was going to give it to my bestie regardless. My account was called and the money was deposited right away.
And, I thought that this was just like, it was what it was. Kenya was like, okay, y'all didn't raise y'all paddle, blah, 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 But I'm just like, Kenya, at the end of the day, if they gave money, they gave money. If they don't like you, they don't like you. Now, Sheree, I can see how you could hold Sheree a little bit because y'all have like some type of cordialness. Marlo don't like you. You don't like Marlo. And literally the scene, a couple of scenes before then, when y'all were over here at that lunch and y'all were wearing all white, you was over here calling Marlo a hoe. She's over here ran through this and the third. When Marlo's wearing that snake skin and the glasses. So, I mean, why do you really care and think, I guess y'all could be cordial, but y'all don't like each other.
Kenya's
but she was always going to get
charity,
it. Well,
That's very interesting that you would support her in that because Sheree and Marlo did raise her.
So Sheree submitted a question to Andy. I think it was Sheree, but basically she asked Candy like, why you should step down since you're so busy, you have so much going on, and you never make it to any of the girl groups anyway, so you might as well just step down.
Look like you're above everyone and never want to share anything other than your business. Don't you think you should step down or take a break since you're so busy?
And I agree that if you're going to be a full-time housewife, you need to show up and come to all the events. If it's not being sick, if it's not none of that, you need to make sure you show up to all the events, right? So if y'all gonna, I heard whispers that they're trying to bring Kim Zolciak back, right? If you're gonna bring Kim Zolciak back, she better show up to everything. Personally, I do think that Candy at this point is above Housewives. She's Grammy Award winning, Tony nominated, Emmy nominated. Candy has been doing so much, and she has her show coming out on Candy in the Game Season 2. She might as well just step down. I feel like Candy has shown so much of her life because they basically touch base like, oh, Candy doesn't show her life. Candy doesn't do this.
First of all, that's a lie. I've shown plenty of my personal business on TV all throughout the years.
I'm like, Candy has shown literally her mother and mother-in-law, rest in peace, over here going back and forth arguing about the fight. Her mama tried to fight Carmen. Her ups and downs with, Todd and her, who wears the pants in the relationship. And the whole situation with her and Faye's child. There's so much that Candy has went through on this show. Like, come on. So now we go on this whole Marlo, the nephew, 2 years while she waits.
2 years later, how did this become an issue?
My nephew just got shot 2 years ago. They used to work for her.
Okay.
I mean, how would that not trigger and just remind me of my nephew?
At the end of the day, like I said before, Marlo was BSing. And I do feel like Marlo just needed something to come at Candy. Like, I feel like somebody pumped her head up and she was just like, I'm coming after Candy. I need something. Oh, she has a shooting her on restaurant. My nephew. I think that's what it was. And Marlo's whole thing was, oh, well, I waited because Candy could have did more. Candy could have, like, literally, she said something about give flowers and chicken wings. Chicken wings.
Reaction to it.
I don't feel like I did anything wrong with her. So you don't feel like you could have, you don't feel like flowers and chicken wings? Let me understand.
She said give flowers and chicken wings. And my whole thing is, I feel like Candy did everything that a friend was supposed to do. So for Marlo to ask for, oh, Candy should have did this. Candy did what she supposed to do. She didn't have to do any more or less. If you didn't ask or tell her what you wanted for her to do, she didn't have to do that. So for you to like, oh, you could have did this. Well, you should have asked. You didn't, so you didn't get it. Candy was there to console you. She was being vulnerable. So I mean, I don't see what else Marlo wanted from her, right? So, like I said before, Sonya tries to speak up and defend or try to explain where Marlo was coming from, and that's why I'm like, Sonya, you're literally doing what Candy just told you that you were doing. Like, girl, we don't need it. We really don't. Just sit there and look pretty, because literally that's all you've been doing. For real. Come back from commercial break. Ralph comes out, and it's awkward off the rip, and Drew's sitting there on mute, like. He was like, Drew, you have any questions? She's like. And then, you know, Andy's asking her these questions, trying to, like, you know, try to get the conversation started. Kenya's telling her, like, you know, Drew, you need to answer him. Like, you need to talk. Like, what's going on?
Can I answer the question, Drew?
I'm letting you have your moment. Take it.
I don't know what you're doing right now, but okay.
So, you know, after watching the whole package, right, you know, I'm over here just like feeling so like distraught. I'm just feeling like bad for them. Like, oh my God, you know, Drew, she's going through with her husband. Like, they were so happy, and now they're in this place. And then all of that come to an abrupt stop because Drew's over here handing him a peach.
I know that's what he really wants one.
You want me to give him a peach?
Yeah, give him a peach.
I don't know what
What he came for, he got his tux. It's ready. Where are you get?
She's like, here, you want your moment? You want your moment? Here's a peach. Here's a peach. We found out that Drew and Ralph were going through mediation, and Andy asked Drew, like, you know, how do you feel about Ralph being here? How do you feel? She's just like, well, you know, Ralph, have your moment. Have your moment. No, you can go ahead and speak, Ralph. You can have your moment. I'm just like, I don't give a damn who speaks. I need answers. So y'all need to start talking. This is the reunion. This is, Drew, this is like your literally last ditch effort to pull us in. Like, you know, we want to like be there with Drew, and we can't be there with Drew if she's closed off or we feel like she just pump faking. I don't got the time. I really don't. So Ralph says, like, you know, he's here to fight the slanders accusation that spread over the internet, basically. So when his kids grow up and see this locate, if like they over 13, I know when I was 13, I was nosy as hell. So I already knew, right? So I think this is the part where Drew starts to lose me. Andy tells her, you know, like, you made your marriage look like, you know, it was so great. So what changed over the years? Like, what happened that really shifted your marriage? Drew's like, you know, I believe in sacredcy of marriage. But there's a lot of things that has happened.
I do believe in the sacredcy of marriage, and there were a lot of things that I didn't feel needed to be plastered all over the TV.
That is not answering the question. You basically politely said, I'm not telling you none of my business, and anything that's like too personal, I'm not telling. That's basically what you just said. So I'm just like, so why are we even on reality TV? Like, if you're not going to give us or talk, I do feel like later on she did start breaking it down once Ralph starts spilling. She started talking too. But I'm just like, girl, like, you need to start talking.
You faithful to her?
It would have came out already.
That's not the question. Boom! Have you been faithful?
Yes, I have. I haven't done anything. There would be everything coming out there.
So Andy asked Ralph, like, are you faithful? Are you faithful to Drew? And Ralph was like, if I wasn't faithful, it would be out there everywhere. Everybody would know. Andy's like, that's not what I'm asking. Period. That's the energy that we need, Andy, because they're not really putting two and two together. They want 1 + 1 = 75. It's not about to equal that. Because when Andy says, have you been faithful? You talk about, oh, there's so much stuff out there. That's not the question that we're asking, right? So you're trying to over here double talk and try to play these mind games. No. That's not the question I'm asking. That's why I'm like, Andy, shout out to you for that one. So Andy asked Drew, and Drew's like, yes, I've been faithful. Ralph's like, okay, so what about Ty? Baby?
Have you been faithful for your entire marriage?
Absolutely.
So what about Ty?
Are you gonna really sit in my face and play in my face? Right?
That triggered Drew. She was over it. She was like,
You gonna do this to me? You really wanna try to go there with me? You gonna try to do this with me? To me, baby?
I don't know why I went to a Spanish accent. But she like, you really about to do this with me? Really? Really? Like, she really go in.
He's chosen other women over me. You've always put me in a precarious situation to be embarrassed, time and time again, and I have sat here and I have supported and I have stayed the...
You know, Ralph reveals that, you know, the whole reason that he knew about Ty was because of the assistant. Now, this part really had me up. Because Candy, Kenya, Marlo, Sheree all tell Drew, yeah, you know, I heard that too. I heard that, like, from people and also the assistant. Drew's like, no, that's a lie. He would not do that. He would not do that. He would not do that. And I'm just like, Drew, now, if it was just Ralph telling you that, cool. Girl, we know he's lying. But if more people are telling you that they have heard that as well from the horses. I ain't gonna say that. From his mouth. 9 times out of 10, girl, maybe you could go ahead and deep dive and just like, okay, did you know Slive say I was over here like, you know, like you need to do something. You can't just say that everybody's lying.
But then you want to protect the kids.
Drew, your assistant,
you wanna protect
your
her.
assistant is the one who told me that you actually had a relationship going on with Ty.
No.
And she's like, if y'all don't know my situation, y'all shouldn't be talking about my situation. Well, girl, nobody knows because you're not telling. We want to know. So, you know, Drew's profusely telling Ralph that, you know, Ralph, you are the streets and you are the one that's over here doing this and the third. And, you know, she pulls her phone out of her brassiere.
Oh, what is that?
Who is this? Ooh, I love it. I love that you did that.
That's his phone number. Yeah.
This is a woman.
Oh.
And she shows Andy, and you know, basically it's a picture of, you know, a big booty girl. And basically she's talking about, when you gonna bring me back that dick?
It said, are you gonna bring me back that dick?
Whoa. And there's
Can you do me
for the years?
Yes.
And you just apologized to me, and you won't even.
Yes, ma'am. Drew tells him, like, this is what I go through. This is what I go through. Girls calling my phone. People doing this on my phone. They're over here calling me on my phone. All this, like, she's just really, you know, going up. And, you know, Drew says, like, you know, for the last 3 years, I've been embarrassed. And, you know, I've been all of this, that, and the third. And she was like, it's happened ever since 2017 in Chicago. And I'm just like, Drew, so if this man has been embarrassing you since 2017, why are you still with him? Why would you want to be with a man that's still going to degrade you, one, on national television, and two, for what? 5 years? No, ma'am. I'm just confused. Like, if he's been embarrassing you this long, why are we still hanging around? Right? So Ralph tells everyone, like, oh, that's a catfish. That's a catfish. Now, Ralph.
Accusing Drew of being with multiple women, is that what your accusation is?
Yes, the streets has been talking a lot.
You just told me you were getting blowjobs around the world. That's what you just told me.
So Ralph's accusing Drew of having having an affair with multiple women. Drew's over here telling Ralph that, you know, you said that you had blowjobs all around the world. This scene was a clear example of how Ralph was over here trying to gaslight Drew. He was like, you know how silly that sounds? You know how silly that sounds?
It's around the world.
Drew, look how funny that sounds.
That's what you said to me.
It sounds silly.
That's what you said to me.
Because it's silly to say.
Like, I could see it. So, you know, Andy asked him, like, have you been having blowjobs around the world? Have you? And, you know, he's like, that's so silly. That's so silly. And, like, he's trying to make her look crazy. And she's like, you know, he's trying to make her look crazy and trying to make her look like she's just lying. And I don't believe nothing Ralph is saying. I'm just like, I believe he said that. He said it in the moment, if it was true or not, just to hurt her and have her spiral, right? Andy asked, like, is there any chance that y'all could rekindle? And Drew speaks to Ralph, and, you know, she breaks down and tells him that, you know, you don't do right by me. He didn't do right by my family. And this part hit me hard because she's like, I gave you all my 30s. I said, ooh.
I literally have given you all of my 30s. You never acknowledge my feelings. You never do right by me.
So, like I said, at that point, you know, she then says, like, you know, and you over here coaching your cousin Courtney against me. Then he tells her, like, oh yeah, Drew, you just acting.
Put up with that. You think I'm supposed to be okay with that?
Drew, you're acting right
You
now.
think I'm gonna be?
Like,
I'm out. I'm done. I'm not sitting here doing this.
That sent her to Mars. She got up. She was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. She walked out, go to the back. And this is funny. While she's in the back, you know, Kenya's out there trying to, you know, defend her and tell Ralph, like, look, you need to really, like, support your wife. You're not supporting her. I've been through a situation where, you know, I'm telling you something and now you're over here making me look like I'm stupid. And, you know, shout out to Kenya for really trying to have Drew's back. But Ralph, in one ear, out the other. And then he's like, oh, how long have you been married? Kenya, you really should have ate him up right there, right?
You side with her enemies. Courtney has all this ammunition against her, all this stuff that she's saying. She could have only gotten that from you.
But, you know, in the back, so I think Sonya and somebody else went to go check on Drew. But Allison, she dropped that little grain. She's like, why don't you tell them that you had a PI? She got a private investigator. So that's how you know Drew. If Drew really did get a private investigator, Drew really got the tea. It depends on who she got, because there's a couple good private investigators in Atlanta. Because we already know what happened with Miss Quad and Miss Lisa Nicole. They just had tea on each other, right? So she really got a good private investigator, baby. Yeah, she really got the tea. So I'm a little bit more inclined to believe Drew now. So, you know, Drew comes back on stage to sing her breakup song, Throw It Away, to Ralph.
Ladies and gentlemen, Drew Sidora.
And it was awkward. I'm just sitting here just like looking through my fingers. Like, I'm just like, it's awkward as hell. But minus the awkwardness, Drew sang that down. I don't care what nobody said, because a lot of people are like, oh, Drew can't sing. Drew sang that down.
You've been out here playing games with my heart.
I was like, yeah, she gave that one. I'm not mad at it. Drew really gave her ones and twos, right? But it was awkward. And she's singing to him. She's like,
Is she that good? Does she do it all for you? Not like I would. One day you see.
just like, girl. And Andy's like, is she singing to him? It was a key. For real. So, you know, she comes back and they close out the reunion. You know, they escort Ralph off, and like that was basically it of the reunion. Definitely for season 16 there got to be something. It's either gonna be a full reboot, or half the cast, 6 ladies, half of them gotta go, and we need to bring fresh new stories, fresh new women. I feel like bringing Drew and Sonya on the show, it was Drew, Sonya, and LaToya. Bringing them on the show was a good addition. I think they brought a lot, but I do feel like at some point it wasn't enough, because Kenya wasn't engaged. Candy was forced to get engaged. Sheree just popped back in just because, I mean, she talked about because y'all were lackluster. I mean, they probably were lackluster. Sheree gave that one. That was cute.
Oh, yes, because you guys
know the most
are a
about
little
taking breaks.
lackluster, so they always have to bring me back. And I've made history. Respect to OG, honey.
But I'm just like, something gotta give. I want new women, and I also want to bring back some old faces. So, but let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.